what seat will you choose this morning? You might choose something familiar, you might choose something a little different. Whatever you choose, allow it to be a position that allows you to feel relatively comfortable and at ease in your body. Begin to draw inward as you focus on your seated alignment. Noticing that which will support the curves of your spine, maybe a little spilling forward of the pelvis to maintain the lumbar curve. Maybe a mindful sense of lengthening out of the hip. As you notice the shoulders, would it be helpful to roll them or soften them down back? How might you place the arms and hands for optimal ease? Not only in the arms and hands, but also ease for the shoulder. And before adjusting, to just notice the position, the placement of your head. Sense where your earlobes rest. And then see if you can adjust the head in a way that allows the earlobes to rest over the shoulders. So similar to a standing position as we sit, would the back of your head, the back of your shoulders, and your buttocks be resting on the same wall? And if not, which part of the body is furthest from the wall? And can you make what feels to be a helpful and healthy adjustment in the body to bring you as close to that as possible? And as we sustain a tall, upright pose, try to sense the inner space of your trunk, sensing your organ, your spine. And notice how the upright alignment is creating optimal space in the trunk. Space for optimal respiration. The upright posture releases compression on the abdominal organ. And even allows the chest cavity to be as open as possible so that it too can reap the benefits, not only of the position, but of the movement of the diaphragm. So in a more slouched position, pressure comes down onto the diaphragm, minimizing its capacity to move. And as we sit tall, we make space for this movement of diaphragm. So as you settle into the pose, just make that inner observation of what is arising for you in the moment. Taking time to align with what it is that you are most wanting or needing from your practice this morning. Maybe coming to a quality that you would consider cultivating through practice. And waking up that silent observer who is just noticing your body, your breath, your alignment, even noticing the quality or intention for your practice. And as we wake up this observer, we become aware that the true observer is absent of language. So if there's words describing, that's coming from the mind. But if there's silence and a noticing, just an awareness aspect, that's what we're pointing to as the observer. I'm going to speak a little bit more about this concept or this idea of observer once I get you moving with your breath. Not literally moving, but connected to the breath. So let's take some time to maybe imagine this diaphragm that separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity. We can begin to try to feel, even visualize the movement of the diaphragm and the movement's relationship to the breath. When our breathing is at its best, this diaphragm descends as we inhale, gently massaging the abdominal organ. And as we exhale, the diaphragm returns to its domed shape as it rises up and gently massages the bottom of the heart, as well as the bottom of the lung. We're just watching breath for now, trying to cultivate an awareness or even a felt sense of the abdominal diaphragm rising and falling with the breath. If we were to research the word diaphragm in an anatomy book, we would find that there are other diaphragms in the body as well, and their movement synchronizes with the movement of the abdominal diaphragm. One of these diaphragms is at the throat, and another lives at the pelvic floor. So if it's of interest to you, you might try to visualize all three diaphragms. Moving with the rhythm of your breath. And as we stay with either just the abdominal diaphragm or all three diaphragms, I'd like to invite you to progressively deepen your breath. And slowly move the breath toward a nice, slow, deep, rhythmic breath. Taking a comfortable, full inhale. And following that with a slow and complete exhale. And in doing this, we again notice this capacity to observe what we are doing, to feel introspectively what we are doing. To also notice how this focus on breath, on the diaphragm's movement with the breath, supports a slowing down or a quieting of mental activity. I invite you to sustain your focus as I speak, let my words kind of trickle in the background. The teachings of yoga, this capacity to witness, is the antecedent for personal growth, transformation, movement toward an awakened, more enlightened state of being. And there's several reasons why it's said that this is instrumental, if not the primary mover of change. To know this observer, this capacity of observation, this play of consciousness or awareness, is to begin to see that the thoughts, the narrative, the continuous mind babble is exactly that, it's babble. And we can begin to see how the unfolding of these thoughts impact our body mind. And research continues to show this mind, these thoughts, these qualities of our thoughts impact our overall sense of well-being and actually have a play in our general health. So as we become more skillful in this observation, this capacity to connect with this ability to observe, the more we become able to release our identification with the thought, and the more opportunity we are offered to shift our thinking, our way of being, in ways that align us with those things that give rise to general wellness, like joy and sense of purpose. So we just observe. Breath coming in, breath going out. The movement of the diaphragms with the breath. We stay with it as we also work to sustain a comfortable maximum breath. Going to add just another piece to our breathing. We're going to add little suspensions and a little kumbhak suspension and a little bit of segmenting the breath. So before we do this, I just want you to acknowledge how you're feeling this morning. Whether energy is high or low. Notice your emotional sense of self, whether the mood is high or low. No judgment, just notice. When we explore the science of pranayama, we learn that whenever we bring focus to the inhale, we increase the qualities of the inhale, which is more sympathetic, more enlivening, more active. And when we bring focus to the exhale, it's more parasympathetic, more calming, more grounding, more soothing. So how we work this next pranayama has the potential to impact. So some might choose to segment inhale to bring in that more uplifting quality. And some might choose to segment the exhale to bring in a more grounding quality. So just take a moment to try to sense whether you want to move toward a more uplifting or a more grounding state. And in either breath choice, what we're going to do is to either divide the inhale into thirds or divide the exhale into thirds. So for those who are going for the inhale, the next time you inhale, inhale into the lower abdomen, pause. Take the next third of breath in from navel to sternum, mid-torso, inhale a third, pause. And then finally, from sternum to pit of throat, you'll complete the inhale. And when you're done with the inhale, you just empty out everything on the exhale and begin the segmenting with short pauses from bottom to top. You don't need to listen to me anymore if you're working on the inhale. Those of you who'd welcome instruction on the exhale, what I'd like you to do as you're ready is inhale fully. And as you exhale, empty 1/3 from pubic bone to navel, pause. Exhale another third from navel to sternum, pause. And finally, complete the exhale from sternum to pit of throat as you empty. And you just continue after you empty. Or as you empty a third, pause, empty a third, pause, empty a third, complete the empty. So you're choosing either segmenting the inhale or as preferred, segmenting the exhale. We observe with attention to subtle awareness. And we just notice whether or not there's a shift in our inner experience based on the practice with the breath. We're going to just keep it going a little bit longer. Watching, observing from the seat of witness, not from the seat of mind. Try to distinguish between the two. Noticing, we might notice mind states arising, maybe resistance or boredom, maybe engagement, curiosity. Just notice moment by moment. Up to 3 more breaths in this way. Rushing to the end, but when you do finish, release the segmenting. Just come into a moment of silence, of relative stillness. Notice what happens when the focus on breath movement changes, when it's released. The narrative turn back on, come louder. The vehicle for knowing this is this practice of awareness. Spine still tall, shoulders still relaxed. And when ready on exhale, please bow the head toward the earth. Soften the jaw, relax the eyes and eyelids. Pausing, breathing here with the head bowed forward. Aware of the whole back body. Stay another breath. When you're done, inhale the head up. And as the exhale arises, lift the bridge of the nose toward the sky. Pause here. Relax again the jaw and reach lower jaw beyond the upper jaw. Really feeling that stretch from the tip of the chin into the neck and throat. Hold that stretch a moment. And as ready, relax the jaw to neutral. And when ready, inhale again, return the head to center. And in the center, exhale. Isolating movement, one shoulder at a time. Inhale, raise right shoulder up toward right ear. Exhale, release right shoulder down, trying to keep the head and neck still. Inhale, when ready, left shoulder rises. Exhale, left shoulder releases. And now inhale, lift both shoulders up, give them a good squeeze, but this time as slowly as you are able. Begin to lower those shoulders down, feeling the process. Take the shoulders all the way down, maybe even depressing the shoulders a little bit. And when you depress, squeeze the depression, so press down a moment, and then simply allow the shoulders to release to neutral. Once back to neutral, as you exhale, turn head to look right. Inhale, coming back to center. And then on exhale, turn the head to the left. Inhale, bring head back to center. Once in center, raise both shoulders up toward the ears, hold and squeeze the shoulders up, and lean the back of the head into the cradle of the shoulders. Squeezing back of head and shoulders together. Nice deep squeeze. And again, as slowly as you are able, feeling the sensations as you begin to release shoulders down and allow the head to gently, slowly float back to a neutral position. Shoulders softening completely, head aligning to what is neutral. And once head is neutral, imagine a large circle drawn directly out in front of you. And please raise the tip of your nose to the very top of that circle. And starting clockwise to the right, use the tip of your nose to trace that circle. Feel the motion in the neck. Maybe listening as I am to sounds in the neck. Notice any tight or tender spot. Notice the presence or absence of fluidity in your movement. And the next time the nose reaches the top of the circle, reverse the direction, counterclockwise circle with jaw relaxed, awareness present. And we feel, we listen, we acknowledge. And the very next time your nose reaches again the top of the circle, pause at the top and draw a line straight down to the center of the circle. Once head is centered, return to a sense of stillness. Noticing your internal state. And if eyes are closed or even open, let the eyes drop down toward the earth. And as slowly as you can, begin to open the eyes with an awareness of light, of color, of textures arising in your awareness. Move from inner awareness to outer awareness. Maintain a drishti once eyes are fully open, so mind doesn't get too busy. And then is ready to let the legs straighten out, placing cushions, props to the side. And once the legs are forward, shift your gaze to the feet. Just begin to watch the feet as you point and flex. And after several rounds of pointing and flexing, circle the toes 3 times or circle the feet 3 times in each direction. And as you complete circles, bring feet to stillness. And the feet are gently flexed as if the feet were against a wall or on the floor. Notice any turnout. So we want to get the balls of the feet right below the toes on the wall, and then bend the toes. And then try to stretch and separate the toes. And 2 more times, bend and stretch. And then when done, relax the toes and now allow the soles of the feet to turn in toward one another. And then turn the soles of the feet away from each other as much as you can. Just try to sense the working of the muscles along the sides of the ankle and up into the sides of the legs. So our feet do a little bit of this when they adjust to uneven surfaces as we walk. This isn't a movement our foot typically makes. So it's good to work those muscles by doing it intentionally. And once you've gone in and out a bunch of times, relax the feet. And I welcome you to shift into table pose. Possibly placing wrists a little forward of the shoulders for less pressure in the joint, fingers wide, gazes down. And you move around a bit to really find what feels neutral in the spine. So natural curves are present. And then on exhale, cat pose, curl tail under, mid back up, lower head, and pause here. And as you're holding the pose, there's a gentle reaching toward the sky. Head, neck, face, jaw, invited to relax. And we notice the felt sense of breath as we come into a position where the diaphragm is restricted simply by the nature of this shape. What does it feel like to breathe here? Now, with attention to the shape of the spine, begin to watch the spine move as you raise the tail, sink the belly, let the shoulders ease back, and allow the head to rise slightly in order not to compress the back of the neck. Again, soften jaw. And I'd like to welcome you once into cow pose is to, for just a moment, pull the belly in tight. And as you relax the belly, consciously soften the underside of the body, giving the spine a little more space to drape. Just notice if you can feel that. Let the belly hang. Let the spine soften. If it feels too much, just curl the tailbone down a little to get any pressure out of the back. Pause here, just another breath or two. And when you're done, leading from the tailbone, exhale, lower buttocks back toward the heels. So come into an expression of child with the arms extended out alongside the head. Once here, lateral stretch by walking the hands to the right to create opening and space through the left side of the trunk. Try to sense your rib cage and the muscles between the ribs, the intercostals, and welcome full breath into left lung and left ribs. Fill up the lung as you inhale, let it soften and empty on the exhale. Up to 2 more breaths. When you're done, inhale, center, please pause. In center, soften in center. Feel both lungs rising and falling with breath in center. And when you're done, walk hands to the left to open into the right side of the trunk. And feel the rise and fall of breath in the right lung inward. Give it another breath or two. When you're complete, inhale, walk it to center. Full breath with focus on both lungs in center. And as ready, inhale, draw yourself up to table pose. And from table, I'm going to invite everybody to rise up to a knee stand. And don't hesitate to add a little thin softening underneath the knees. We're going to be on the knees for a little bit here, so it's fine to cushion them. And I encourage you to face the long edge of your mat here as you bring your right leg out to the side. And you might experiment with resting on the heel. That's going to feel a particular way in your hip joint. And you can also experiment with bringing the right foot to the floor, which again is going to feel different in the hip and in the knee. So you're going to just choose which alignment is better for your hip and knee, whether you want to bring the foot down or stay on your heel. I'll probably play with both. So I'm going to rest my right hand on my right leg, inhale the left arm up. And as we exhale, leaning to the right, let's go in and out 3 times. Inhale, backing out. Exhale, come in. And again, inhale, back out. Now exhale, come in and pause. Nice length through the left side of the trunk. If shoulder isn't happy here, you could bend the arm and point the elbow up, or even work the pose with left hand on hip. Comfortably full breaths for up to 3 more breaths. We'll actually be doing 3 poses from this position. So when you feel complete, inhale, rise up. Some might enjoy a block in this, and the block would be placed on the left side of the left leg. And as you exhale, you're leaning down into the block or to the floor if you have that much reach. You might not. No harm in using a block here. And then the right arm stretches alongside the head. Ground the foot or push out through the heel. So if toes are in the sky, push through the heel. If the sole of the foot is on the floor, sink into that foot. And let's go up to 3 more breaths. When you're done, please inhale up, releasing the arm. And from here, we're going to go into a table-like position. So keep the leg extended, bring the hands to table. And when you're ready, right arm lifts to the sky. So we're finding a twist here. Nice full breath. Notice where the breath goes as you hold. And welcome that sense of awareness as you notice where you are in space. As you notice the quality of breath and where your attention is. Giving it up to 3 more breaths. Whenever you're done, exhale the hand back to the ground. You can step that right leg in now so you're back in table pose. 2 rounds of cat-cow. Exhale when ready. Cat pose. Inhale, cow. And one more time at your pace. When done with your cat-cow, adjust the spine to neutral. Carefully rise back up to the kneeling position. If you liked working with the block, you might move that to the right side so it's available. And we're going to extend the left leg out. So again, you have the option of on the heel or foot on the floor. Ideally, you'll do the same on both sides. So whatever you did on the other side. Left hand begins on the left leg. We'll raise the right arm or hand on hip if that's better. Get your length first. So lengthen out of the waist, inhale, and exhale. Ease over to the left. 2 more times. Inhale back out. Exhale, ease in. And one more time. Inhale, come out. Exhale, ease in for a hold. Choosing the right arm position, wise choice. Finding breath. Cultivating interoceptive awareness, knowing what's going on inside. Observing, breathing. Up to 3 more breaths. When you're complete, inhale back out. Release the arm down. Right hand goes to either block or floor, and the left arm reaches alongside the head. So those of you working to the floor could be in fists or palms down. Same is true on the block. You could have palm down or fist. We're drawing a nice long line through the left body. Finding breath in the pose. And let's stay together for up to 3 more breaths. When you're done, inhale, backing out of the pose. Raising both arms up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold from the hips. Bring hands to floor, table position. So you want to adjust the arms so the spine is in a true table. So don't have the hands too close to the trunk, because then you'll round. We get length here, and then as ready, inhale, left arm rises to sky, coming into a twist. Finding breath, finding a place to rest the eye, observing, trying to see yourself right here on the mat. Full breaths, up to 3 more. Whenever you're done, exhale, unwind. Once the hand is on the floor, draw that left knee in. And once the knee is in, again, cat-cow, exhale, cat pose. And inhale, cow pose. After cat-cow, adjust the spine to neutral. I'm going to invite you, if you have a blanket or a prop on your mat, to place those props to the side. We'll turn once again, so we're gazing toward the front short edge of the mat. And from here, we'll transition into a down dog. So as you're ready, exhale, curl toes, reach hips up and back into down dog. I invite you to come into some slow motion pedaling of your feet. Draw focus inward, feel what's going on as you pedal the feet. And the next time right knee bends and left heel is reaching to the floor, I'm going to ask you to try holding there. Holding up to 3 more breaths. before you shift sides. So take your time. And again, once you've shifted sides, holding on the other side up to 3 breaths. And after the holds on the 2 sides, rising onto toes and then gently reaching both heels down. And we'll hold full down dog up to 3 breaths. And once those breaths are done, feet can move toward hands into ragdoll pose. Adjusting your spine as needed, lengthening or relaxing the spine. Knees can be slightly bent. And in your time, rising to standing, inhale, arms like wings, lengthen, reach, sweep up, gentle back bend on the very top, and eventually exhaling, arms down, hands finding prayer at the heart. And we stop in balance pose, in Samat Sthiti, mountain pose with hands at heart. And we just settle here for a moment. And as you settle, let there be a sphere of awareness that is simply noticing you standing here in this position with the breath. That awareness is also able to watch the rise and fall of thought. And if this thought isn't me, what is me? Who am I beyond these thoughts? Allowing arms to release is ready, eyes open. Standing at the front of the mat with feet hip width. Right foot maintaining its position as the left foot steps back. We take this stance as wide as we need to maintain a sense of stability. And we see our right toes and the hips and chest are pointing in the same direction as those right toes. Let's start actually with arms in W position this morning. And on the inhale, drawing arms back as right knee bends over ankle into a warrior stance. And then exhale, release. And again, inhale, arms draw back from W position, hips a little forward of, or chest a little forward of hips. Exhale, release. Let's go for a hold. Inhale, knee over ankle, arms draw back. Notice I'm not standing fully upright here. I'm slightly hinged forward. Too upright here is going to create a lot of compression in the lower back. So arms drawing back, heart, chest is open, shoulder blades squeezing, and we come back to that sphere of awareness. As we sense ourselves, we notice ourselves here in warrior stance. Comfortable breath. I invite you to stay for up to 3 more breaths. Whenever you're done, inhale straight leg and release the arm. Pause and feel. Ground the 4 points of both feet, hands back onto hips. Inhale, rib cage floats out of the pelvis. Exhale, the belly is firming as you hinge from hips and spill the pelvis toward a half fold. Doesn't have to get all the way there, but toward a half fold. In the half fold, tail reaches behind, spine lengthens forward. Inhale. And as you exhale, see if the pelvis will hinge a little further forward. Hands can remain on hips or come to rest on leg. Remember to not hyperextend this front knee. So if you feel you're pressing into the back of the knee, soften the joint and re-engage the muscles of the legs. Nice full breaths, working right here or taking it deeper as desired. And let's stay together for up to 3 more breaths. The invitation as you come out is to bend the right knee over the ankle and sweep the right arm or the arms alongside the ears and rise all the way up into warrior. Once into warrior, exhale, lower the arms down, take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Roll one shoulder back, then the other. Right knee is still over the ankle. Draw the arms back as if you were trying to reach your knuckles toward the back heel. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Try not to throw the head back. Keep the chin in a little. Neck should feel comfortable. Hands can rest on the back body or make it more active by lifting the arms away from the body. Full breaths for 3 more. Heart lifting to sky, eyes rising to sky. When you're done, please straighten the leg, release the arms. Let hands find hips. Front knee bends a bit, back foot steps in. And just march it out, let everything relax. Before going to the other side, let's stop in a tall mountain, feet grounded, spine rising, shoulders relaxed. Find a focal point. Soften gaze or close the eyes. And simply be aware. Not engaging with thought in any way, but just noticing the passing of thought. Not changing the breath, but simply noticing the breath. Not changing the body, but noticing the body. Eyes have closed. I invite you to let them softly open. We'll keep the left foot forward as we step back with the right. Again, adjusting the width of your stance for optimal stability. We'll begin arms in W position. And on inhale, left knee moves over ankle, arms draw back, chest displaces a little forward. Exhale, release it, legs straightening, arms release. Inhale, back in. Exhale, when ready, release. Now your hold, inhale, knee over ankle, arms draw back, chest forward, anchor into that back foot. Squeeze leg muscles to bone. Let the heart beam forward. Relax the eye. And just be aware of you here in warrior stand. Up to 2 more breaths. When done, inhale, straight leg, let arms release for a moment. Pause, feel. Eventually moving hands to hips, left hip drawn slightly back, spine lengthened out of hips. And the focus is moving the hips, spilling the pelvis forward as you exhale and move toward a half fold. Pausing here, breathing, lengthening, noticing, work here, or exhale, hinge a little deeper. Hands can stay on hip or leg. Again, caution not to hyperextend in that left knee joint. Full breath. And staying up to 3 more, observing, acknowledging, The transition is to warrior with arms overhead. So when you're done, the knee begins to bend over the ankle, arms sweep up alongside the head. We inhale and come up. Exhale, arms sweep down behind the back. Interlace fingers, roll the shoulders down, and stretch the arms behind you, reaching knuckles toward heels, heart lifting, gaze lifting. Keep the foot anchored, arms resting close to the body or lifting away. Full deep breaths. And up to 3 more. When done, arms relax, the knee straightens. Can lean a little forward as we glide the right foot up. Once up, I invite you to just march in place, let everything relax. Let's return the feet to hip width as we prepare for a balancing pose. If you prefer a firmer surface, you can step off of the mat. Weight will transition to the right leg. On inhale, stalk pose. Left knee rises, both arms rise. Once in stalk, reach up, ground the foot. Bring right arm down, hand to knee, and open the left knee out to the side. Nice full breath, holding up to 3 more breaths. And 2. When done, move the knee to center. Release the arm and leg down, and again soften. We'll make a switch to the opposite leg, so left leg is grounded, leg muscles engaged. First, we come to full stalk, right knee rising, both arms up. Once you've settled in, lower the left hand to the left hip and open the right knee out to the right. Keeping a focal point best you can. Up to 3 more breaths. When done, knee floats to center, foot down, arm down, and everything softened. Let's turn to face the front of the mat, feet again at hip width. Moving through a half salute to the floor, so starting in Samastiti, hands in prayer at the heart. Ground through the feet. On inhale, arms sweep up, stretch up, reach up, look up. Soft knees as you exhale and swan dive, spilling forward. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, knees bend a lot, hands to floor or blocks. Let's step it back to plank pose. From plank pose to child pose. Pause with focus on back body breath. And when you're done, I'd like to welcome you to spin onto your back. Please have a block within your reach. Knees are bent, feet on the floor. And just take a moment to voluntarily rest the body. Get as easeful, as soft as you are able. Observe what's going on inside. No commentary, but just aware of. Notice breath. We'll do a little movement in bridge, so we want to align the feet at hip width. This morning we'll bend the arms for bridge, so upper arms firm on the earth, elbows bent, palms of hands face one another. We're going to segment our lifting into bridge. So on the inhale, we lift 1/3 of the spine, stay there, exhale. Inhale, lift the second third of your spine, stay here, exhale. Then inhale, lift the remainder of the spine, stay here, exhale. Stay here, inhale. Exhale, lower the top third of the spine. Stay here, inhale. Exhale, lower the middle third of the spine. Stay here, inhale. And as you exhale, lower the remainder of the spine all the way down. Soften. Pelvic tilt in between. Inhale, lower back arches. Exhale, navel to spine as lower back flattens. Inhale, relax the spine to neutral. Stay here, exhale. Same process. Please inhale 1/3 of the spine. Remain here as you exhale. Inhale, second third. Remain here as you exhale. Inhale, lift the remainder of the spine. Stay here, exhale. Stay here, inhale. As you exhale, take down the top third. Stay here, inhale. Exhale, take down the middle third. Stay here, inhale. And on the exhale, release the rest of the spine. Relax the arms to the floor. 2 pelvic tilts. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten. And again, as you're ready, inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten. Hold the flattening. Press into the feet. Lift the lower third of the spine. Find your block and wedge that block right underneath your sacrum in whatever position feels appropriate and stable. Rest the spine, the sacrum actually, on that block. So make sure it feels stable. Lift 1 foot off the floor. If the block is stable, lift both feet off the floor. If not, adjust for stability. And then we'll flex the feet, heels to sky in Viparita Karani, the reverse process pose. Legs up with the block. Let arms rest. Adjust for optimal ease in the pose. You can let the ankles and feet relax. And here we just allow gravity to do all the work. Welcoming blood flow toward the heart, lungs, and brain. And we observe everything that's arising. Nothing else to do, just to be here with all that is present. If available, holding up to 4 more breaths, knowing you can release before that as needed. Suggestion is when it's your time to release is to first bend both knees and to allow just 1 foot at a time to come to the floor. Careful care of your back. When both feet are on the floor and your back in supported bridge, just pause and rest there a moment. Feeling all that bridge has to share. And holding another breath or two. When done, removing the block and gently laying the spine down. And once the spine is down, just stop and rest and notice. There might be a tendency to want to adjust, but can you just come out, be where you are, and notice? Notice what's in the thoughts, in the body, whatever is present. Let's take knees one at a time into the chest, hug the knees. Give the knees a squeeze. And from here, we'll move into our final twist. You might consider feet to floor first, displacing hips left, and then lowering knees to the right, head turning opposite. Make a shape here that serves your body. So if there's too much pull or tension, adjust as a means to manage that and find a place that's not too much. Enjoy up to 3 more breaths here. When complete, find center once again. And eventually prepare for the same other side. So you might need to displace hips again, right this time before knees go left. Adjust for ease. Feel the rise and fall of breath. Noticing the thinker. See if you can stay more connected to the aspect that is noticing the thinker, as opposed to focusing on or noticing the thinking. What would happen if we identified with the observer more than with the thinker? What might open up? What might change? Up to 3 more breaths here. When you're done, inhale it all to center. Hugging knees to chest a final time. And then laying out comfortably in Shavasana. Having additional clothing, blankets, whatever you'd like. As you settle into your resting position, please reconnect with breath. And for just 3 breath cycles, Let's all try a segmented exhale. So at your pace, when ready, inhale fully. Exhale, empty from pubic bone to navel, 1/3 of the breath, and pause. Then empty another third from navel to sternum. Pause. Release the rest of the breath, sternum to pit of throat, fully empty. When ready, inhale fully, fill yourself up comfortably. And then exhale a third, pause. Exhale a third, pause. Exhale the remainder of the breath, empty. Once empty, inhale fully. Again, fill up. On your own, release in thirds until you find yourself. When emptied this last time, fill up fully one more time. And then let go of any control of the breath. Let the breath feel the breath breathe itself. Breath coming in. Breath moving out. Each exhale, an invitation to release and let go. Each exhale, let go and let go and let go. Continuing to rest as desired, or begin to deepen the breath and stretch the body. Staying connected to the inner world as the body awakens to this moment. And eventually, as desired, to come up to comfortable seated posture with your eyes closed. And to close, sharing a short reading from Eckhart Tolle. And the name of the piece is The Beginning of Freedom. The beginning of freedom is the realization that you are not your mind, the thinker. Knowing this enables you to observe the entity of thinking, entity of mind. The moment you stop watching the thinker, a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. You then begin to realize that there is a vast realm of intelligence beyond thought. That thought is only a tiny aspect of that intelligence. You also realize that all the things that truly matter, beauty, love, creativity, joy, inner peace, arise from beyond the mind. You begin to awaken. Arise from beyond the mind. You begin to awaken. So from a place beyond thinking, beyond mind, just sit with yourself for a moment. To feel what's arising, to notice what's arising in body, in mind. And with gratitude for the many parts of self, the body, the thinker, the mind, and this capacity, this amazing capacity for awareness. Let's bow the heads in gratitude as we chant the sound, taking in a breath. Om Shanti, 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 peace. May each of you, may all beings everywhere know happiness,